Welcome back to the Freeform Podcast, where we are all about dreaming bigger, dreaming better, and dreaming more often. I am your host, Efa Imboto, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about the track and the writers, part 2 of The Art of Momentum. So, if you didn't listen to part 1, you're going to want to go back, listen to part 1, and then come back and listen to this. Welcome back, everybody, for the Freeform Podcast, where we are all about helping you dream bigger, dream better, and dream more often. Again, I am your host, Efa Imboto, and I am super excited about today's episode, as I probably always will be, because we are talking about the Art of Momentum ebook. It's a free resource that you can download from my website, efaimboto.com. And if you haven't listened to the previous episode, you're going to want to go back and listen to that. It's basically an overview, but you'll get a little bit more context about what we're going to dive into today. So today we're going to talk deeper about the track and the writers. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So the track, again, is really the big picture idea that you have, whether it's a business or product or anything like that. And it's really good to understand and to know that the track is already laid out. That should not be a limiting factor for you. Take a deep breath and exhale. Ooh. That should be so freeing for you to know that you're not trying to create something new. You can't, okay? Whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you're thinking about doing, it's already been done. Maybe not to the way or the feeling that you're going to do it, but it's already been done. However, you can have your own unique experience, or your idea, your version of it can be uniquely better than the other ones that are out there. That is the goal. The goal is to have a unique experience on the track that's already designed. So, let's think about this. Chick-fil-A, and we used this example already, but Chick-fil-A was not the first fast food restaurant. And I think they're calling them fast casual or quick casual or something like that nowadays. But they weren't the first ones to do it. However, they focused on making their experience uniquely better or uniquely different. And I think they focused on it internally and externally, and that's something for another podcast. But basically thinking about it like they wanted to make it uniquely better for the employees and uniquely better for their customers. So how do you even know what track you want to be on? How do you even figure out if this is where you want to be? Well, if you're dreaming bigger, better, and often, your dreams will probably be very similar. You'll probably start to have a very similar thought process, and you'll realize what you're passionate about. Because usually when you're dreaming, it's dreaming about what you're passionate about. For years, I've dreamed about this very moment. Sharing what's inside of me with other people has been a lifelong dream of mine. As a matter of fact, if you ask anybody who knows me from my childhood, they will tell you all I've ever done is share what's inside of me with other people. I talk and I talk and I continue to talk and I continue to engage people and ask questions and get really meaningful with them and try and get deeper into their lives. And the reason why I do that is because that's what I dream about. That's what I'm passionate about. So this makes sense. Now, just like you know, this is not at all new. Podcasting and sharing all the, like, this is not new. I'm not doing anything really new. However, I am trying to have my own unique experience and make it uniquely better for me in this track that I'm on. So understanding your track and knowing what track you want to be on is really understanding your dreams. It's really understanding what you're passionate about. Ask yourself this question. If you didn't do what you're dreaming about, if you didn't jump into that thing, if you didn't like engage that thing, who's going to miss out on it? Who is actually missing out on you moving in your dream? If you say no one, then that's probably not the track that you want to pick. If you're dreaming about something and you go, this doesn't really matter, it's not going to matter to anyone else but me, then that's probably not the thing that you're really going to need to do. When you find what you're passionate about, you figure out that you can't sleep at night sometimes. You can't eat sometimes, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but sometimes you feel that urge, like you have that sense of urgency, like, man, if I don't do this, or if I don't move in this, or if I don't try this, then somebody is missing out. When you can answer that question, or when you can feel really solid around that, that's when you know that you're on the right track. And it doesn't always have to be passion driven. Sometimes it's motivated by something else. It doesn't have to be something that you've been dreaming about since you were little. Sometimes it could just be a very random occurrence or an experience that happens and you immediately are just invigorated and enthused and you want to dive deeper into that thing. You think about people who have nonprofits, and I know this lady who she started a nonprofit because of a situation that her brother went through and a disease that he was dealing with, but she just out of nowhere started this nonprofit, and it wasn't something that she was dreaming about her whole life, but in that moment she had that dream and she thought to herself, if I don't do this, if I don't try and help people who are experiencing what my brother's experiencing, then who's missing out? What are you passionate about? What are you dreaming about? That's the track that you need to jump on. And as anybody will tell you, or maybe not anybody, but as people should tell you, the best way to really make sure and ensure that you have sustained momentum is to have others along that journey with you. So that way they can keep you accountable, they can encourage you, they can celebrate with you, and that's where the riders come in. The riders are the people that either you choose or that choose you. It can go either way. In the beginning, a lot of times, they're going to choose. In the beginning, a lot of times, you're going to be the one who's choosing them. But sometimes, they're going to choose you. Sometimes, they're going to choose you in the beginning. But that actually happens by you going out and sharing about the track that you want to be on, talking to people, and seeing who else gets excited about it, or even who has some sort of conflict around it, or some, they want to challenge you a little bit on those. You need those people around you too. You need those types of riders also. So don't just find riders who are like, yeah, let's go for it, and that don't have any questions or don't have any hesitation. You want to surround yourself with people who are genuinely wanting to be on the ride. You have to clearly communicate to those people, this is what I'm after. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm feeling. But you don't have to have everything answered in that moment. You don't have to tell them like, oh, this is exactly what it's going to be. 5 years from now, it should look like X. It doesn't always happen that way. But you do want to at least clearly communicate that track and that dream and how you feel like you're going to make it uniquely better for them, for yourself, for the others that you're going to engage with. And the riders are then going to make a choice. Do they actually want to ride with you? Without anything else really figured out, without anything else, without the other elements that we're going to talk about, they will join with you, and they will, if we're talking about the roller coaster analogy, they will wait in line with you to experience what you're trying to experience. And that's a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Every day, I get to work with people who have come along on a ride with me, and it is incredible. I look at those people and I think to myself, why? What is this ride for you? And I have to keep asking myself that question because I need to make sure that I'm doing the right things for the people who are riding with me. The riders are really, really important. They're going to encourage you. They're going to help you stay accountable, and they're going to do other things. But at the same time, I think it was Wayne, I can't remember his last name, but if you're trying to build a business, especially, like, you need people. You need others. For real momentum, you need others. Think about this. Take a penny or take a watermelon. If you were to throw that penny up in the air and let it just drop down, it would go up, get to its apex, and then it would start to fall. And if you held your hand out, you could probably catch that penny. Probably, no matter how high you threw it, you could catch that penny. Take a watermelon. Do the same thing. Take that watermelon, heave it up as hard as you can, just like you would with the penny, and stick your hands out and try to catch that watermelon. It's going to be a lot harder for you to catch that watermelon than it was for you to catch that penny. Why is that? Because the watermelon has more around it, more than just the penny has. If you're just one by yourself, you can still go up and you can still have momentum, but it won't be the same as if you gather others around you who want to be on the ride with you, who are willing to go on the ups and downs and the twists and the turns and the loops. That kind of momentum, when you throw that up and it comes back down, that's when you see the power happen. That's when things get really meaningful. And so, again, the track and the riders, the first two parts of the art of momentum that we're talking about here. If you have any questions about anything that I've just shared, love to dive deeper into it with you. You can send your questions to ask@effaimboto.com. That's ask@effaimboto.com. I really hope that this was meaningful for you. I really hope that you got something out of it. If you did, would you do me a favor and just subscribe and then share this episode with others? Share this with anybody who you think could get value out of it. You could also rate this podcast wherever you're watching it or listening to it, wherever you're consuming this content. You could just rate it, and that would be really helpful also. That helps us get the word out. Again, I am trying to help people dream bigger, dream better, and dream more often, because I know that the world around us is just the sum total of dreams realized. And I want more people to realize their dreams. Thanks for checking out the Freeform Podcast. On next episode, we're going to be talking about the other elements of the art of momentum. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be really, really good. We're going to dive deeper into some of the other elements and get more of this analogy really frameworked out, so that way you can really start to gain momentum. Again, if you do want to download the art of momentum, it's a free resource on my website. It's effaimboto.com, and you can download the art of momentum for free. We'll see you on the next podcast.